beautiful people. So हम आज जो है कर रहे हैं lipids. Okay. So in previous class we just discussed about and completed the carbohydrates. And carbohydrates we covered the monosaccharides, disaccharides, and lastly the polysaccharides. Okay. So now we are going to study about lipids. So lipids are also like building blocks of life. Okay. Okay. So and there are two types in lipids: fats and oil. Fats are solids and oils are liquid at room temperature, and the room temperature is 20 degrees Celsius or 25 degrees Celsius. It is a standard we take as a room temperature. Okay. So what else? They are insoluble in water. Previously we discussed that there are polar molecules and non-polars. So these are basically non-polar molecules and they are insoluble in water. Okay. Lipids are esters formed by fatty acids combined with alcohol. Okay. So fatty acids plus alcohol is equals to lipids, which are esters. Okay. And the bond which is formed over here is called the ester bond, or you can say the ester linkage. Okay. I don't know why my laptop is like going slow. Fatty acids. Fatty acids are series of acids, some of which are found in fats, which are lipids. Okay. Fatty acid group जो है वो ये होता है. This is the group. Okay. COOH. Wherever you see COOH, that means it's a carboxylic group, and that is like acidic group. Okay. Large molecule in the series long carbohydrate chain. Okay, they are carbohydrate chain. They are long chain. Okay, and they have a acid head, or you can say this group is basically on their head. Okay, we call this the head, and then there will be a long chain of carbohydrate, and there are often 15 to 17 carbons which are making the hydrocarbon chain. Okay, and this is 1 and 2 type of fatty acid. Okay, fatty acid, where should I write? Okay, so what's going on over here? You can see this is the head that we were talking about. This is the carboxylic group. Okay, and this is the long chain of hydrocarbon. Okay, now you can see in this chain of hydrocarbon you can see the C, and at these places there are H's. Okay, just fulfill the and so on. Okay, so you can see over here, you can see that this is a single bond. Okay, so whenever there's a single bond in the fatty acid, we call this type of fatty acid saturated fatty acid. Okay, and when we see this double bond, okay, we call this one unsaturated fatty acid. Okay, this type of tail contain less number of hydrogen. Okay, and because of this double bond they are easy to break. Okay, so this is weaker as compared to this one, weak, strong. Okay, because of this it is easy to break a double bond, and it is difficult to break a single bond. Okay, so it is basic chemistry. When you'll be studying chemistry and bonding and all that stuff, you'll see that double bonds are weaker as compared to the single bond. That's the same thing written over here. Okay, unsaturated. Okay, the double bond makes the lipid, unsaturated lipid or unsaturated fatty acid. Okay, it is easier to melt this type of lipid because of the double bond. Okay, so mostly the oils, they are unsaturated. Okay, there's nothing in that. Okay, when we have multiple double bond, that fatty acid is called polyunsaturated. Okay, this is a term, some sort of definition you can say. When there is a single double bond, like there is only one like that, and then there is a chain like this, then it is called monosaturated. Okay, animal lipids are often saturated. Okay, they are fats. Plant lipids are often unsaturated, they are oils. Okay, as such as olive oil, sunflower oil. Okay, now let's see alcohol and esters. Okay, alcohols are series of organic molecule which contain a hydroxyl group. Okay, hydroxyl group attached to a carbon atom. Okay, so this is glycerol. Glycerol is a alcohol. Okay, and when you see this OL, that means it's an alcohol. Okay, and alcohol have like OH group in them. Okay, so according to the reaction over here, as we have seen this before, but I'm going to tell you again, that alcohol plus acid is equals to ester. Okay, so this is acid, this group is the acid when the C is attached to COOH. Okay, plus alcohol. Alcohol is when you have this group. Okay, this is the group for acid and this is the group for alcohol. Okay, they make a bond. Which bond they make? They make a ester bond or ester linkage. Okay, so this is the bond which is made and there is water produced. Okay, so when there is water as a product, so this side is the product side of the equation, and when there is a water formation in the product side, then that means that we have a condensation reaction going on. Okay, so that means that if we reverse it, if we reverse the reaction, it will be hydrolysis. Okay, triglyceride. Okay, triglycerides are basically lipids, common lipids. Tri means three. Okay, as the name says. Okay, glyceride means they have three glycerol groups. Okay, sorry, they have three glycerol groups and they have they have three OH groups and they have three fatty acids, and they basically make three bonds of ester. That's why it is called the triglyceride. Okay, so where's the figure? Here's the figure. Okay, so according to the figure, glycerol, this is the molecule of glycerol, and glycerol have three groups, three OH groups. Okay, and it is combining with three different fatty acids. Okay, and making three different ester bonds. Okay, what is the process going on? The process of condensation. Okay, the bond formation is the ester bond or the ester linkage over here. Okay, so this is forming a triglyceride. Why it's called a triglyceride? Because three ester bonds are made. Okay, this is the chemical equation and this is like the simplified word equation of it. Okay, and you make three water molecules. Okay, if you reverse it, it will be hydrolysis. Okay, why triglyceride is soluble in inorganics? Okay, so basically it is not soluble in water. Okay, because they have like a non-polar molecule. Okay, so but because of the non-polar nature, they are soluble in the non-polar solvents. Okay, non-polar solvents are like ester, chloroform and ethanol. Okay, these are non-polar. Okay, so triglycerides are basically hydrophobic in nature. Hydrophobic means they are water hating in nature. Okay, they repel water. They don't make bonding with water, or you can say that. Role of triglycerides: they are energy reserves. Okay, they act as storage form of energy. Okay, there are various they are found in various part of our body, like the dermis of our skin and around the kidney. Okay, we have a kidney, and we have fat over here. You can say triglyceride over here. Okay. Also, we have the layers of the skin. So there is a fat layer. There is also triglyceride present. And what it does, it provides insulation to our body. Okay, insulation to our skin, so that our body will lose less heat. Okay. When we metabolize the triglycerides, then water is produced. So it is a very great source of water. So what happens is that if the body is facing some lack of water, then the triglycerides break down and form the water, so that the body is like not dying. Okay, phospholipids. Phospholipids are special type of lipids. Okay, each molecule has unusual property of having one end with which is soluble in water. Okay, now we have the triglyceride. They were insoluble, okay, in water. Now we have phospholipid. They are soluble in water. Okay, what happened over here is that there are three chains of fatty acids, okay, in triglyceride. What happens is in phospholipid there will be only two fatty acid chain, and one of the chain is replaced by one phosphate group. Okay, now this phosphate group is basically making the whole molecule soluble in water. Not the whole molecule, we can say that the group where the phosphate is attached, that side is soluble in water. Okay, so where we can find this? We can find this in the cell membrane. Okay, so this is the molecule of a phospholipid. So phospholipid, there is a alcohol molecule and the fatty acid chain. Okay, so there are not three chain, there are only two chain. Okay, and one of the chain is replaced by this phosphate group. Okay, so this phosphate group makes this side of the molecule hydrophilic. Okay, so what happen is that they make this molecule makes up the cell membrane. Okay, bilayer, cell membrane bilayer. They are arranged like this. This is the membrane of a cell. Okay, and we are going like zooming on that, zooming in. So what we see over here, we see this type of molecules. So they are like making the whole like circle and like containing the cell. This is like the whole membrane. This is the whole cell membrane. Okay, and this is the hydrophilic part. Okay, and this is the phobic part. Hydrophobic. Okay, so what it does, it does not allow everything to pass through. Because of this, it makes the membrane partial permeable, which means is that not everything can pass through it. Okay, there are channels, they open and substance go through in and out of the cell, and not everything pass through it. So it is very like useful thing in our body, and like it is made up of lipid, because our whole body is composed of different type of cells, and the membrane of a cell is composed of this type of molecule. So it is very essential for us. So this is the lecture for today. This is the whole story about lipids. In the next lecture, we will be we will be going through proteins. Okay, so till then, I hope you understand this lecture. Till then, Allah Hafiz.